Is it time to let go? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mariana, for those of you who aren't subscribed or don't follow me. And yeah, I like to talk, so let's talk. Okay, so is it time to let go? This is a very, I don't know, it's a very deep question because you can never know if it's time to let go. But I can give you my opinion on if it's time to let go. So for a really big chunk of my life, I've always used this as a reference. So for people that I'm friends with or whatever, and they're talking about breaking up with their partner, I always say this. You have to think of it as a positive and negative. So when you're with a person or your relationship in general, do you normally feel positives or do you normally feel negatives? If the negatives outweigh the positives, it's probably time to let go. And I'm not saying that in a sense that it's permanent, but I think it's time to definitely take a break and reassess. For a lot of people that get into relationships early on, it's really hard to stay in a relationship just because you have so much growing to do, mentally, and you over high school and your 20s as well, literally psychologically, it's just you change so much and your partner's also going to change so much. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to anyone that's watching this and they're oh my god, I don't want to leave him forever, I don't want to I'm not saying forever, but I'm saying you have so much growing to do and your partner has so much growing to do, and sometimes it's better to grow separately. And if you're noticing that you're breaking up every week, you're feeling more negative, you're crying all the time, you're not having as many happy moments with them, you're feeling drained, you can't eat, you can't sleep, that is taking a toll on your mental health, and I've said this in my other videos, but you should let that man go. Maybe it's permanent, maybe it's not. Take a break up, whatever is suited for your relationship, and just reassess for your own mental sanity. Because how you lose yourself in a relationship is when you start making sacrifices that hurt you mentally. And if you're staying with someone, and I'm not saying they're a bad person for this, because I think just relationships in general can be draining, but if you're feeling drained because of stuff that's happening between you and your partner, you are sacrificing your own well-being. And I'm not saying that relationships are going to be perfect, because they're not going to be perfect. You're going to feel drained sometimes, but I'm saying if you're feeling drained 60% of the time, and as I said, the negatives are outweighing the positives, you're not eating, you're not sleeping, it's probably time to take a break. Every relationship's different, so I'm not speaking on that. But this is kind of more for a video for people that are debating a break or a breakup. Because you can grow so much independently and discover so much about yourself, and then your partner, your ex-partner or whatever, can do so much growing on their own, so much growing by themselves, that let's say you do reconnect again, that growing can actually save your relationship. But for the meantime, grow on your own, figure out who you are. Maybe you'll meet someone else and that person will be your soulmate. Every single relationship is different. And I'm not saying that it is permanent, I'm not saying that it's not permanent. But I'm just saying every relationship's different. You're gonna become your own person. I think it's pretty clear, I've said this a million times, but I think being on your own or independent, taking that time for yourself if you're going through a toxic relationship or a toxic breakup, is the best thing you can do for yourself, because you can kind of detach that way and grow on your own and become your own person. Because the second something that's in your control starts taking a toll on your mental health, it's really time to reassess. Because there's things that you can't control, school is taking a toll on your mental health. You can't really control school, because school, it's the classes you're taking, it's something you're working towards for your future, that's different. But if you've been in a relationship with someone, you do have power over how you let that relationship affect you. And also okay, is it worth it for my own mental sanity to stay? Because you're going to change. And if you've been in a long-term relationship and you notice your partner's a different person, you're kind of a different person, that is completely normal. Because you're going to change, your brain is going to change, your interests are going to change. Part of that is because of who you're with, and part of that is just your own brain growing and you finding interest in other things. Now, I personally don't believe in breaks. I believe in breakups, and then because for me I just can't see myself taking a break with someone and then getting back together in a month. That's just for me, that wouldn't work. But for some people that does work, and I think that's great. But just for me, that wouldn't work. But again, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, if you need to take a step back from your relationship to focus on yourself or, like, see how you do on your own. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like deep down, every single person knows when it's time to leave. And, like, whether or not, again, it's a permanent thing, it's not a permanent thing, every single relationship is different. But, like, you know when it's time to leave and you know when it's best for you to leave. Like, I think everyone knows deep down. In experiences I've had, like, I've always had, like, a gut feeling, like, okay, like, it's time to leave. Like, whether I was, like, dating the person or talking to the person, like, I always knew, like, okay, like, this is not someone that I can see myself dating or marrying, you know? Thank you guys so much for watching. I've kind of lost the plot, I fear. But yeah. Bye.